Hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be cleaning up our generic crafting demo because honestly I want to get this cleaned up so I could start using it in real world examples. There's quite a few things I'm never going to use, like the hide gathering nodes for leather. Those will always be like hunted, and a few other things that I really want to get cleaned up here. Most importantly, the thing I want to get cleaned up the most here is the gathering node timer event, because it's very inefficient to be running timers on every single one of these. And with the vendors, when we clean those up in their bonus episode, we made them run on the game mode on a timer. So what I did was I made another timer. And I made this in its own standalone video as its own asset, and we're going to import that today. So I'm going to go into my documents, where most of my projects are. And my Unreal projects, as you can see, we have a bunch of projects in here that we've been messing around with. But I made this global timer demo, and that is what I'm going to use to put the timer in this project. So I'm going to open that up. Okay, now that my global timer is open, I'm just going to copy, honestly, just this global timer, and I guess the BPI, and we will export those. So we'll take our asset actions and we will go to migrate. And we want to migrate both of these to wherever your game is. And normally that's going to be in your user file, documents, Unreal projects, and then you'll find it from here. I'm actually using a second hard drive, so I have a dedicated hard drive for just Unreal Engine, where I put another batch of projects, and that is where I have my generic crafting project this time. So I'm going to go into that, I'm going to click the content folder, and I'm going to select that, and that's going to migrate the assets. Now I have them, and I'm going to drop them into the game folder. You could make a components folder if you wanted. I'm going to drop them into game. Kind of the way we have things organized here. And I'm basically just going to run this game global timer on the game mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the game mode, go to components, I'm going to add AC global timer, and now I'll have a timer component on my game mode. So now with this AC global timer, I can save my current game time, I can play my current game time, and I can save my current game time, and I can basically more effectively loop through everything, because this is not going to be what we do with those. So now, inside of our event begin play, our AC global timer component has a the run, so resume global timer, and it has a load global timer. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously load the global timer, right? Say load global timer. But before we load the global timer, and then we're going to resume, by the way, the global timer, and that's going to play it. But before we load the global timer, we want to make sure we bind the events in the timer, and there are only 2 events here, so we're going to assign on global time, and this is when the global time gets updated, so every tick, pretty much, this event is going to fire, so we need to use this sparingly. And we're going to assign on global days as well. That means another day has ticked, and we're going to also handle that sparingly. It happens much less frequently, though, obviously. Kind of depends on the settings we give it, and we're going to give it those settings right now. So we're going to click this AC global timer again in the components tab, and we're going to go into the setup on the right hand side here in the details panel. And I want my global time rate to actually be 1 second, and I want it to dilate 100 seconds, and I want the global day seconds to still be 24 hours. That way I have a good baseline to go off of. So now this is going to tick our global timer, and how we're going to handle that is something we'll have to talk about in just a minute. I'm going to move that stuff down a little more. I'm not going to be using it anymore. But first we need to load this global timer, right? So I need to get my BPFL get valid save game reference, and we need a way to set and receive this global time value. Okay. So I'm going to go into my save custom, and I'm going to make 2 more values. So one is going to be called global days, and that's going to be an integer. And one is going to be called global seconds, and that is going to be a float. And I don't know what this L vendor index is doing. I think it's this guy, which should be a local variable and not this. From the remove vendor data, which I don't even know if I'm actually doing here. So L index is greater than or equal to 0. Yeah, we're like not even breaking this loop. What the heck happened in this function? Is this function not in use? Okay, where the heck is this in use? Oh, I see. I see, I see. So, yeah, we need to make sure that we fix this as well. So if that's true, then yes, we are breaking here. And then if it is, the index is greater than or equal to 0, because the default should be -1, then we are going to remove that index from the vendor data. And this is pretty much to keep the vendors from needing to continuously call refresh when there's nothing to refresh, if you want to do it that way. That's the way I did it. I know this project is very specific in the way that we do things. Anyway, our new time values are going to be in time. So we're going to put those in time. And I suppose we'll do like we did with everything else and say set global time. And we will put that in the category of time. And we will just pass in the global days and global seconds through that time. And I guess I don't mind just getting them out. I'm not too worried about it. So inside of my game mode custom, I'm just going to get them here. We get the global seconds and get the global days. Plug those in, and now we have a global timer basically ticking away. So when this happens, we would need to get the BPFL, which actually, let's go ahead and just say set global days as its own thing and set global seconds as its own thing. So we will set global days instead of time, days, and then we will set, since they have their own, calls anyway, better to just separate them. That way we're not forced to basically get a bunch of data for no reason. And yeah, you're good. Just compile. No, just go away. Just go away. Fine. Be like that. Anyway, yeah, that'll make it easier to actually grab that stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go into the game mode. We're going to get this valid save ref again when this happens. And set the global seconds. Likewise over here, we're going to set the global days and plug those right in. Days can go into here. Seconds can go into here. Or if you want to promote these to variables and keep them around in the game mode, that's totally fine as well. I don't think I need to because we're just going to call some things after this. And the things we're going to call after this are going to basically determine whether or not we are ticking the vendor timers or not. Because I don't necessarily want this to every single second be ticking this. So I'm going to make a couple of variables to basically determine if it is within the parameters that I want it to be in. So basically every time I tick a second, every time we tick, this is going to go up by 1 second. So this is going to be 0, and then it's going to be 100, and then it's going to be 200, and then it's going to be 300. That's going to happen every second. And if that's going to happen every second, then I want to take this here. And I basically want a way to count how many of these need to go by before I refresh my gathering nodes. Because if we remember correctly, our gathering nodes use a UTC value. So we do kind of want to continue using that UTC value, or you could just use a float value. I think a float value is probably fine. That kind of removes the global aspect and makes it more of a local aspect, but I did like the global aspect, right? I like that if you're not playing the game for a week and then you come back, your harvesting nodes will have updated and be available. So yeah, I think that's probably something we're going to continue to do. But what we need to do is basically make sure that when we come in here and we begin play and we get that gathering node data and we get is depleted and check all that before we even check needs respawn. We're not going to check needs respawn from here. We'll make an interface event that says check needs respawn because we're going to call this from the game mode. So we're going to find our gathering node here, and I believe that is in objects, gathering node. Yep, here it is, our BP gathering node. So I'm going to make a BPI for this, specifically for gathering nodes. BPI, gathering nodes, and the BPI gathering nodes is going to try refresh node. And that's all it's going to do is try refresh node. So basically when I implement this, go to the class settings, implemented interfaces, we already have interactions, right? So we need BPI global timer now. This is why categorizing things can be nice, because, yeah. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Did I implement the wrong one? Yeah, I did. I accidentally had global timer. Yes, delete that. We don't want global timer. We want the one we just made. My bad. Which is BPI gathering nodes. Okay, BPI gathering nodes. And we're going to run this try refresh node function basically instead of check needs respawn to get the UTC now over the depletion time and basically do the exact same thing. We're just not going to be running this timer anymore. Okay? We're going to be running this try refresh node. And everything else is going to stay the same except run respawn timer, which is not going to run anything. We're not going to have a respawn timer handle to be valid or invalid. So we can go ahead and delete that. And that cleans this up quite a bit. It just runs the BPI to see if enough time has passed for this node to be visible or not again in the world, harvestable, and then does it. So yeah, I figured there was a run respawn timer or something around here. Anyway, now in our game mode custom, what we're going to do also on begin play is we're going to take and get some references. And we'll do that before we even start the global timer. We're going to do get all actors of class with interface. This is pretty important. With interface of BPI node. Our gathering nodes. We're going to run a for each on those gathering nodes. Okay? We're going to run a for each on those gathering nodes. And we're going to say is active, pretty much. Because we don't want to loop through every single gathering node in our game to see if we need to try to refresh them. If they're already refreshed, then we don't need to worry about it, right? So the first thing we need is can interact. So our BPI for gathering nodes is going to have to get can interact somehow, right, without casting to it. I could cast to it. I don't want to. And I'm also going to give these a category of nodes. That way we don't get carried away here. But yeah, we need a way to get if we can interact with this, and that is a boolean, and that is and it's not I can get interact. It's my bad. It's gets is depleted. You know, I had interactions on the brain. Get is depleted with an output of depleted, and then we can use that in here and say get is depleted in nodes. And then we can pass our item hard, or not our item hard, our info. No, our item hard. And break that and say this is the... And yeah, since we just use interact, I guess we will just get interact. I thought I used a depleted value, but it looks like I did just use can interact. We might want to use a depleted value instead of interact. Depleted would make more sense. I don't know why I called it interact. But yeah, I get is depleted is just going to get, if we can interact, then it is not depleted. So we're going to say not. If we cannot interact with it, then it is depleted. I believe that is how we have this all set up. That's the only time you wouldn't be able to interact is if it's not depleted, at least from the node. From the player, you also have to have the class and a level and all that stuff. So we're going to say I get is depleted message. And if this is true, if it is depleted, we're going to move all this stuff down a little bit as well. Actually, we're just going to sequence this because that'll be better. You're going to be doing probably a lot of stuff on your begin play anyway. So sequencing things and then collapsing graphs is kind of, important for any game, especially on begin play in the game mode. You're going to be doing a lot of stuff. So yeah, we're just going to I get is depleted, and if that is true, we're going to promote this to a variable. And we're going to call this our depleted nodes. Yeah, we'll promote it to a variable. We'll call it depleted nodes, and we'll make it an array. So this is just an array of actors that already exist in the world. And we're just making a container for them, so we'll get that, and we'll add the item into it. Okay? And now on that note, because like I said, we're going to be using this to try to refresh them, I actually want to return a float on try refresh. Because I want, or a boolean, I want to know if this was refreshed. So is refreshed. It's my bad on that too. That way our gathering node actually knows if it is refreshed, because now the I try refresh is empty, and in our event graph we have this expired node that's never going to fire. But all of this is doing is just saying Control C this, or Control X this, and put it in the I try refresh node, and Control V it. And then we would say, yes, this is refreshed. So we'd branch here. If we are respawning, then yes, it is refreshed. If we are not respawning, then no, it is not refreshed. Now we have a return off of this, so we can do even more with it. I know we don't run functionality in these a lot, but it is very nice to be able to run functionality in here. And I think in respawn, we are setting depleted time to clear. Well, I guess not. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. But now, before we get lost here and carried away, we are going to, yeah, so we already have all of our depleted nodes. When that's completed, we'll probably do the same thing for vendors later on. I just want to get these working first. And when that's completed, we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to do the next thing. And the next thing is going to be this, and this is going to bind those, and then we are going to make a custom event, probably. Yeah, I think a custom event will be fine. We'll make a custom event called try refresh nodes. And what that's going to do is take all of these depleted nodes and run that I try refresh node that we just made. We're going to run that through a for each and say I try refresh node. And if that gets refreshed, then we are going to remove the index that we are on because we no longer need it. If that is true. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Basically, when we refresh this node, when it comes back as true that we have, in fact, respawned the node, we no longer want the node in this array. So one more thing we're also going to do is just a quick check to see if this is empty. So we're going to say is not empty and just make sure real quick that this is not empty before we actually run this execution. That way it's just a little bit faster if it is empty to just fail out. It doesn't have to try to do anything or get any bugs. Delete these. They don't matter. We're not going to use them anymore. And here we're going to try refresh nodes. And the vendor is going to be done on the day. I'm just going to do that on global days, honestly. Okay, I'm just going to do that on global days. So our BP for our vendor also has resupply on itself. And we're using this tag of replen. Oh, we were using the tags to get it. I see. This isn't even the BPI anymore, is it? I don't know what's going on with you. It looks like all of them end up going away. We could try to just use them as normal, but it looks like all of them ended up going away, so we might have to come in here and fix that up. Yeah, so if this vendor, if we load the inventory and we load the currency, I think once a day we just refresh all of the vendors. I think that would actually be simpler. Okay. And I really don't care too much about vendors, which is why I don't want to spend too much time on it, but yeah, I don't think we need replen tags or anything like that. Um, I guess it helps. We'll just delete those replen tags. So save vendor data sets the vendor data. And we save vendor data, I'm pretty sure after we interact with the vendor. Right. If it's a valid vendor, we load it. If it's not a valid vendor, we just get the defaults. So yeah, we're not even using a data table here anymore. We're just getting the defaults. So I think this will probably be fine. I think it will. We're just loading the inventory with the defaults again, delaying where we don't need to, and getting a valid save game reference and removing that vendor from it, and trying to save the game. I'm trying to figure out where I actually put the vendor in, into that save game container. I don't, did I do that in UI? In the transfer widget? There's no way, right? Maybe it is coming back off of one of these. I trigger save to save the vendor data. Uh, I guess. I guess we only save the vendor data when we interact with the vendor and change it. So what we can do then to make it a little bit easier is probably go into our game mode custom here. And say on our, let's just make a custom event for it. Try reset vendors. We would say get valid timer or get valid save game reference. We would say uh, get vendor data, I guess. Run them through a for each, break it open. Yeah, find the unique ID, find the vendor in the world, and then reset them. That won't actually be easier, man. What am I talking about? So yeah, what we need to do when we complete this is get all actors of class. Or if you wanted to make an interface for the vendors as well, we could, let's just do that. That way they're a little bit cleaner and we don't have the hard reference in our game mode. If we don't have we show our reference viewer in our game mode, it's not actually referencing anything it doesn't need to be referencing. So it's not like it's referencing all of the nodes in the game. So yeah, objects, NPCs, our blueprint for our vendor. Let's just make a BPI, and we'll call it BPI reset vendor. And it'll just do the same thing as our other one, except we don't need a return. We'll just say reset vendor. And then inside of vendor, inside of the class settings, we will add BPI reset vendor. Compile, save that. When reset vendor is called, we will run this logic for resupply. And yeah, because if it's false, it just doesn't do anything, so we're not too worried about that. Yeah, we'll run this logic for resupply, and then we will call it. So we will do this again, get all actors with interface of the type vendor. Yeah, BPI reset vendor. Again, this is just kind of a cheesy way to make the game mode or any other actor get all actors of class without having hard references to anything, as you can get them by the interface. So we're going to promote that to a variable. We're going to call that vendors. I guess we'll just have to do this through all of the vendors in the game. And we'll notice if there's any lag, probably. So we'll get this. We'll say for each vendor in the game, we will reset the vendor. I'm not actually triggering any saves or anything anywhere, because I just don't think I need to. But we do need to do one more thing off of the gathering node, and that's actually use the BPI for the game mode that we brought in here from our example. Let's compile, save that, and just open it back up in there. There we go. So yeah, inside of the game mode, we brought in BPI global timer to call the game mode. And this is basically just a way to call the game mode. That's all it is. It doesn't even need to be labeled BPI global timer. Probably BPI game mode would be better. And we're going to add self to resource depleted pool. And that is going to take in an actor. This is going to get implemented on the game mode. So inside of our game mode now, we will have access to that function. Well, we won't because we didn't set up the interface. So we're going to go into class settings, implemented interfaces, and say BPI global timer. Now we'll have that interface here. And now I can add both of these. So I can take this event add self to the depleted resources. I can take this depleted and I can say add. And that's it. That's all we want to do there. Basically just a tricky way to let any resource call the game mode and say, hey, I've been depleted, no matter what the game mode may be. So if we end up with different game modes doing different things, it'll be a little bit easier to convert this to a new project. Also, the set globals from game mode is going to take the global timer. We're going to get the globals, so the global time and the global days. And I'm not going to be using this anywhere. This is just a simple getter that kind of comes along with the system to make sure that we can get the current global time out of anything. That'll be useful for when we're probing it for like lights or something, which I'm not going to do, but that's like a main function of a timer, so that's why I made it in the timer. So now one more thing we need to do before we can actually get this tested out is go into the gathering node again and say when this is harvested. So on interact, when we gather the item and we add the event log and we disable interactions, we'll do it from disable interactions. We need to take the, after we have set this depletion time, probably after we have saved, and we need to get the game mode, and we need to add self to the resource pool, the depleted pool. That way, the next time the world timer ticks, after we've saved the game and all that, this node will also tick and try to destroy itself, or try to not be depleted anymore. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Let's go ahead and try to press play here, see what happens when I grab a resource. I'm gonna grab 10 iron. Okay, the 10 iron grabbed. I have no idea what I set that to. So we should probably like add some event logs and print some strings here, right? Otherwise, we're gonna have no idea what's going on. So we will just take, when we do this, add an event log with a message of the global seconds. Log type can just be none for now. And I think that'll be fine. So now when I press play in here again, we see that this steel is already back, but the iron is not back because it still needs to respawn. We see the time is just a ticking away. And again, every single time this ticks, it is checking all of the things that are not existing in the world. So all of these get checked every time. Basically, when I just come over here and start harvesting things, more things are going to need to be checked per second. And that's where we can really run away with this, is when more and more things are being checked every second. Yeah, it looks like the vendors are working. I mean, I can buy the items and stuff. I can even sell the items. So we get like 90 FPS right now through the vendors. I don't know where our frames actually went though. But it looks like almost everything has respawned except this first one. So what's up with the iron? Why does the iron take so long to respawn? Is it because you were the first one in there? Or is it because I restarted the game? So the respawn timer should be 60 seconds. I'm going to make it 5. For all of them, I guess. And then we're gonna press play, and we're really gonna see if this works. Yeah, so we somehow we have a bug where the iron has decided it is I guess the save is uh, not being visible. I'm not really sure what happened to my iron there. Let's try to find out. And maybe we were just loading it too fast. I think that's a definite possibility. I think that is a definite possibility. Yeah, we were just loading it too fast. That's all that was going on there. I'm pretty sure anyway, as we were just loading it up too fast. Yeah, because it was saved and then we were trying to do the thing with it. Yeah, we loaded it up too fast. So yeah, other than that, there wasn't really too much I wanted to clean up here. I'm kind of okay with how the event log is looking. All of my vendors and chests are working fine, even though I've moved this project around so many times that I should probably go through and re-implement all the BPI. But yeah, let's actually check and see if we save that. So it's 1920. Let's check and see if it's 1920 when we finally load up here. Okay, 18. I'll take it because we didn't actually save the game on the global time update. If you want to save the game every global tick, you can. But I didn't want to because I don't want to run that much logic every single tick. But we do need to get this day going. Otherwise, we'll be here for like 3 hours waiting for that because it's on 1 second and 100. So I'm actually going to put this on every 5 seconds. I want the global time to update, and I want the global time to update by what is 1/5 of 20 of that? So we have 86400 divided by 5. So 17,280 would make 5 ticks in a day. So 17,280 should make 5 ticks in a day. So let's go ahead and try that. And then I believe it was this vendor I talked to. Oh wow, this is gonna tick pretty quickly. Yeah, you have all the steel guards. Let's make sure you have a steel helm real quick. You have a steel helm. And we see the day is ticking, so we are almost at a whole day. 70,000, almost at a whole day. 1,000. So we just ticked to the next day. So this vendor should have refreshed. And this vendor did not refresh. Maybe day tick didn't go off somehow. Alright, so let's check and see what's going on with day tick as well. So inside of the GM custom, we are going to basically add an event log when the day ticks as well, with our new message for the day tick. And then no, I mean, we should pretty much just be looping through every vendor. Oh, we never actually called it on the day tick. That makes sense. Try reset vendors. We actually have to call it on the day tick, right? So on day tick, we need to call try reset vendors, and then now when I tick a day, it should reset this guy. Yeah, he's already been reset, so I'll buy a steel helm. Now he's got a steel helm. It looks like our day reset. I don't know if we got to him before or after the day reset. Looks like after. We'll try again. One steel helm. Obviously, your days probably wouldn't be going this fast in your game. This is like 15 seconds a day. And yeah, the vendor all reset, so that is good. That is what I wanted. That is exactly what I wanted. And the storage chests are still doing their thing. Yeah, we do have a huge UI hit. When we open up any of these widgets, we have a huge UI hit. So I kind of want to get into why. Let's go ahead and try something. Let's open this in a standalone game, and let's open our trace insights tool. So we're just going to open Unreal Engine Insights, the session browser, and then we're going to play this in standalone. And once the session browser has properly opened, I don't need this calendar anymore. Once it has opened and I play this in standalone, it is just going to start recording. You'll see the little live next to it. That means it's recording. Pull it back off here so I can full screen this. And yeah, I'm just going to kind of run around here and collect some nodes. So yeah, we didn't load our classes. I guess probably because it's standalone, huh? So if we were to pick up the herbalist class, okay, yeah, we could pick up all our classes. We're going to pick up mining. Now that we're a miner, we can mine this ore. And I did not get any experience. That's not good. I wonder if this is a result of being a standalone game. That I did not get any experience. Yeah, because it's saying I gained my 10 XP and I've got 1 to my next level. Anyway, let's again go over here real quick, just right before the end, and trade with this vendor so we get an open window. And we'll just close out there. And now we'll be able to open up this trace and kind of see a little more what's going on here. My computer's starting to get hot, so I'll have to turn my AC on soon. I wonder what these are. Yeah, this is every 10 seconds when it's calling pretty much everything to update, it looks like. Or that was probably when I was opening the window. Okay, yeah, it looks like we were waiting for the rendering frame. Yeah, it looks like we were waiting for the rendering frame for most of that. But I don't think it was the UI, because we did have the slate tick. So maybe it was actually just getting all of it in there. So everybody's waiting for tasks, waiting for tasks. That's definitely this foreground worker uploading, I'm sure. I don't know what the heck this guy's doing, though. That could be a result of all the delay until next ticks we have in there as well. I would say that's very likely. But yeah, we want to figure out why we're not getting any experience, because when I play in the selected viewport, everything loads up fine. But when I play in the standalone, nothing is happening. Why the heck is that? Absolutely nothing. And if I pick up a class, I don't get the appropriate amount of experience to be able to start earning levels. So we picked up the new class. It set us at level 0, though, with XP of 0, and then I pick up the experience and nothing happens. So maybe that's what so another viewer was talking about. So we'll probably like clamp the video. That way it's 2 videos. But we do want to figure this out. So let's play again in the selected viewport. Actually, let's go ahead and just, yeah, play again in the selected viewport, and I will grab, what class do I not have? I have all the classes, god damn it. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll close out of generic crafting clean, and we'll just delete the save file. And we'll go into documents, Unreal projects. Actually, this one's not in the documents, this one's in Unreal projects. Clean up, and we will delete that save file entirely. and open it right back up. Okay, well, now let's give it a try. So we have an unresolved compiler error in the save game. Where did this come from? Integer greater than integer. Yeah, and this is load vendor data. So what happened to my vendor data? So if that's true, then we're gonna break. And then if that's, oh, that's right. We need a local vendor index here. We were using somehow we had promoted one of these to the wrong thing. So we're just going to pull local vendor index in there, put local vendor index in there. Default's still -1, so that's good. We're going to get a copy of it, and if it is valid, that's going to work. Okay, compile, save that. Now my save game should stop throwing a fit. And 0. We're going to pick up the mining class, and yeah, so it starts us at level 1 here when we're like normally playing the game, which is good because when we're level 1, we can actually do stuff, right? We can gather experience. But when we play in a standalone game, okay, for some reason it's not saying we're level 1. And that's not bueno. That's no good, man. Oh, now a standalone game is going to work with me? Well, what if I pick up fletching? Yeah, I'm still picking it up at level 1. The heck? What the heck? So maybe you had this issue. Hopefully you didn't. I don't want to see anyone having issues here, but yeah, that is not what we want to see. That is very weird that all I did was delete the save game and it just kind of decided it was going to start loading up. Maybe the save game was corrupted or something, and because this project is so old, it was from a different save file entirely. Maybe it was just getting confused. I don't know. But yeah, I just deleted the save file and retried, and it worked. So I'm, I guess, okay with that for now. Our next step is going to be adding a retainer in here, I believe. Either adding a retainer in or putting some of this stuff out into a world. That way we can actually test it. That'll be a separate video, though, where we put it into a world and test it anyway. Thank you for watching. Consider joining our Patreon. For just $3 a month, you'll get instant access to all of the project files and the videos as soon as they come out. Now, on to the next one.